What you're looking at are the remains of the oldest freestanding stone building in the world. A temple built over 1,000 years before the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge in England. On a small island in the Mediterranean, the island of Gozo, where man first set foot some 7,000 years ago. And finally, the British, who left their influence in the most unlikely places. You get a better English breakfast here than in England, and the famous red telephone boxes and blue lamps outside police stations are now just memories in the UK. And finally, the knights decided to fortify the Gran Castello, or citadel. And started to build their famous towers around the coast. Not to protect the population, but to protect the General's Rock, or fungus rock, as it's called today. The rock is covered with what was called fungus melitensis, a sort of natural antibiotic used as a cure for hemorrhages, dysentery and ulcers, apoplexy, venereal diseases, used as a contraceptive, and more recently as toothpaste, and for dyeing textiles. The Arabs called it the treasure of drugs, and the Knights of Malta were determined to protect this treasure. The penalty for trespass or theft was termination with extreme prejudice. To get a Maltese falcon's eye view of Ramla and the rest of Gozo, we've been using a novel form of transport, the product of that Gozitan ingenuity, an ultralight motorized hang glider mounted on an inflatable dinghy. Tonight, Henry has invited us to a restaurant where the cabaret is provided by our pilot Henry and his Scottish wife.
Just like a blind man, I wandered alone. War isn't the years I claim for my own.
But there are many of us, old visitors and new, who've been bewitched by Calypso and will be only too happy to stay for the next 7 years.